Meeting for the Washington County Board of County Commissioners.
Y'all are good.
We'll start with the invocation and pledge. Mr. Hamilton, if you don't mind, sir.
Bow in, please. Thank you, Jesus, for what you do for us as a county. Thank you for your blessings. Lord, just let us have this meeting and with civility and let our decisions be swift and firm. Thank you for the protection of the men and women in uniform that give this great nation the freedoms that we have. In your name we pray. Amen.
If you would, please join in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I want to add, before we get started, I want to add something to the agenda. We've already addressed it. It's the mowing contract with Sunny Hill, but I just want to get clarification for the board so we can get that out to bid. So if you don't mind, we'll add that after the FEMA Rock bid. Shouldn't they talk about it now? Okay, we'll start with that. Never mind, we'll put it in front. The main thing, I was talking to Hank and I don't really know, I didn't understand the 10 cycles. And I didn't know, I thought about maybe going down to, my idea was maybe go down to 7 and then maybe do 12 months of trash pickup. But we just need to give him direction on how everybody sees it. If we're going to do it exactly the same way it was, which I don't understand, 10 months just don't make sense to me because you ain't going drastic, about 7 or 8. But, I mean, whatever the board feels, I'm good with.
Was the contract written, there was 10 mandatory, or was it like 7 and then they had 3 additional if they needed it?
That's what it was.
That's what I'm motioning.
We actually paid him.
Yeah, we paid for 7, guaranteed for 7.
So much per cut.
We guaranteed 7.
Yeah.
Is there any, I mean,
7 cuttings?
no, see, my understanding,
10 cycles.
it was 10 cycles.
That's correct. But you paid every cycle that they cut.
Are they guaranteed every cycle?
I wanted to say it was a guaranteed 6, but
That makes sense to me. And then you add it on if you go.
But then I don't understand how do we get,
but they were guaranteed a certain amount.
Well, you got to. There ain't no way you can do it like that.
yeah, but I mean, how did we get to the point where we paid them roughly 90,000? They did all 10 cycles?
Yes. So they were cutting up until, I'm going to say October or November when they did their last cut.
We had a weird winter this year too.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I didn't know if y'all wanted to add some roads, cut the cycles down, guarantee them however many, just however y'all feel.
When we do a cleanup mowing around the end of October.
That last mowing was,
When you start mowing toward the end of the month.
that last mowing they done was necessary.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't need to start another.
No. But I'd say we do 7 mowings, most like your state contracts allow 7 mowings, if they bid a contract, they can buy the equipment on it, guarantee that amount of money. Then the other 3 would be prescribed by
Who's ever monitoring?
That's a shady, well, I don't know if it'd be discretion of Tom or not, because MSBU.
But with that MSBU board is going to be employees.
Yeah, they can use their discretion.
Let's go with what we had last year,
What was that?
whatever it was. And then, let's give it some room that we can adjust it up or down. Let's make a line item and then let them bid it per cycle.
Well, and that's what I said.
Guarantee them those cycles, and then if the board down there that we said decides to do more, then it'd be simple to add to it.
Yeah, if they'll bid it by the mile, and separate the mowing and the trash, then you can add or take away if they want it, if they decide to add a road, or not, or.
DOT's got
It's hard to do it for the mile.
Yeah, DOT's got a really good unit rating. You break it down into, you got flat mowing, bow trim mowing. Is there still slope mowing on there? Is that part of it?
Yeah, I believe there's still.
You know, and then you're getting quantities. Then you're getting quantities and.
But it's done by the acre.
Well, yeah, but you're done by the acre on the quantities.
But you gotta have somebody gather the quantities.
Yeah.
Because you got some roads split median then.
Well, yeah, and that.
Some of them you got wide right away, some of them you got
Very
no right
acres,
away.
you know, but you mow it per mile. So
Yeah.
basically, they had the list of roads that they were doing last year, you know, in the cycle. So I think we need to go back to that, and then we'll leave it to the board if they want to adjust it when they come to us to recommend any difference, we can change it then, but we gotta get something in place, to start the cycle in March, because it's coming up.
Yeah, so it's here on
Or
there.
April.
And do you want those cycles to be the 6 main thoroughfares and then identified road?
Now, what was the road that we
There were
were
6
doing?
identified thoroughfares. There was Shenandoah, Elkham.
The boulevard.
And that was all?
There's only 6. That's
That
right.
was it.
Yes, sir.
I think what we talked about last week, let's go ahead and just back on my in the cycle. And then when we got advice from the new committee, then we're gonna put it in place. And we're gonna take advice from them and this is now forward.
I agree. But we're gonna go ahead and allot the contract on the 6 main thoroughfares that we already had in place. Then we'll take advice on any additional.
That's correct.
Okay, now I'm good with that. And then, but just do it, we're guaranteed on 7 modes. And then additional modes will be on the discretion of the MSB commission. Is that good with everybody?
But we need, there's not, I don't know how you would add to it without going back and rebid it.
Now, once you're in contract with, under contract with them, then you can,
Well, they could you not put a clause in there or something that each additional cycle above 7 is X amount of
Well,
dollars?
that's not a problem. He's talking about additional roads. Steve, Mr. Joyner's talking about additional roads.
You just have your guaranteed minimum, which would be 7 cycles, and then for 10. They're guaranteed a minimum of 7. Then the contractor will always hit you up trying to get those other 4.
Gotcha.
But the other part you gotta get in there is you gotta have your cycle length. In other words, you can't have somebody with a push mower get out there and have one cycle because he never stops pushing, you know, you need it to.
It was in there to start
Yeah.
with.
But I know that was a complaint, that it never seemed like they got
Finished.
finished.
Yeah, you gotta finish one before you start.
Whatever,
the
I don't know
cycle.
what a cycle length should be down there, I'd have to look at all the
It
roads,
should
and figure out all the
take
acreage.
a week to do that.
No, and I knew in the beginning, just from seeing it personally, that they had some mowers that, say this.
I know what you're saying. I think we all together.
As time went on, they bought much nicer equipment, that they were much better.
now they subcontracted all that.
Did,
And so it was always somebody different.
Now, we
It
don't,
was one company.
Mr. Goodman?
Yes,
On this right here, on the separation of the county and the MSBU, as far as the inspection of it, to see that the product is done and acceptable to the standards that we set forth by the board, could we do that as internal as a county?
We've got to manage it.
Yeah, it's our
We
baby.
would be
Okay,
the contract administrators.
All right, well, I just want to be, I know before we got,
Are you clear?
So I've got 12 months trash pickup, 7 cycles minimum, but you'll bid on 10. May increase the roads that need the cycles, and need to define cycle.
And it may not matter, I'm coming in on the tail end of the thing. Does it matter to the board what percentage of the actual work the bidder does on it, or are they allowed to sub?
yes, I don't want it set down. I want the.
Yeah, I want them to do it. I don't want somebody, I want somebody to answer it.
So we need to put that there.
The bidder is required to do the work themselves.
And you want mowing, trim, and,
letter of,
yeah.
Well, there's got to be some other on the other contract, that you can pull and find out.
Okay. Yes, sir, I'm clear.
Okay. Did anybody sign up?
Sign this sheet, that's me.
I'm gonna open up the non-agenda, well, first we need to adopt the agenda.
With the addition, I'll make a motion that we.
Second.
All in favor? All right, now I'm gonna open up the non-agenda audience portion. Is there anyone that'd like to speak on anything before we get started? Nothing. Hearing none, close that portion, and now we're to the FEMA Rock bid. Mr. Tom, you speaking on that, or?
It gets started.
Go ahead. Please.
Go through, he's got the technical side. And so, the reason we're here today specifically is to discuss the FEMA Rock bid and staff recommendation on how to proceed. All the rock bids that we got on the last came in $1,063,261,099 over budget. budget's based upon the amount of money we have left from FEMA for the work to be completed.
So what, I guess what we're saying, what FEMA gave us, the low bid here was a million over?
Yes. The apparent low bid. Okay, so with that in mind, and there's always going to be some overruns and whatever else, but with that in mind, we now know that we may be able to reduce the price by rebidding the contract and specifying limestone instead of granite. It's the availability of lime rock is still not available here in the Tri-County area, so that's just out of question. We have this opportunity to rebid it, get that price down, get it closer to where it's going to be. It still won't be, it'll still be, probably be above, but
Didn't we just bid these out? We just
we
got
did not
this
get
back?
bids the week before last.
Why don't we consider this rock the first time if we knew that it was 30% cheaper? 20-30% cheaper.
It's not 30% cheaper, it's probably more like 10, possibly 15% cheaper. And limestone and granite, when you have two piles side by side, looking at them, it is very, very difficult to tell the difference between the two. Limestone is typically a little bit more dusty than granite because it's not quite as hard as granite. And so it is a little bit more dusty than the granite is. And all the discussions that we had with the board leading up to all of this was to try to use the granite. You can anticipate a little bit more dust with the limestone than you do with the granite.
So we're still gonna be around $635,000 over budget.
I don't know what the number's going to be because that's the materials reduction and not the overall.
But it's still gonna have to come from the same sort of plants, correct?
Not necessarily. Limestone comes from a different place than granite does. And so we think there could be additional savings in the trucking over the granite because of the lime rock, because of the limestone, not rock, limestone. So the big suppliers like Vulcan, for example, is one of the biggest rock suppliers anywhere around here. They handle both kinds of materials. They come from different places. They're processed a little bit differently. We think that there could be some savings in the trucking, and we think for sure that there will be some savings in the material cost itself.
Is limestone, I guess we're gonna, if we rebid limestone, and I apologize, I'm a rock novice, is that rock acceptable to DOT and FEMA? I mean, is there any?
There's a DOT specification,
there?
DOT specification for 57 limestone.
And that's what we would be, so what we're rebidding is okay as far as DOT standards?
Yes, sir.
What kind of time frame are we looking at, additional time frame we're putting on this?
We think that it's going to cost us about 3 weeks total.
21 days?
That's what we believe from, in other words, if you guys.
3 working weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, in the discussion we had with at the pre-construction conference, the way it worked out with 51,000 tons was that they were going to have to haul in place somewhere around 10,000 tons a week. I'm sorry, let me back up. 10,000 tons a month is what they would have had to have placed. There were no contractors that felt like that was unreasonable at all. And so with this new time frame, they're probably going to have to put out closer to 14,000 tons of lime rock a month, which is still not unreasonable.
Yeah.
And so if you divide that by 4 weeks, you're not talking about a tremendous amount of stone per week that has to be placed.
Well, you know, going into it, how I felt when we first did it, the time crunch. Me and you had a long conversation, along with Hank, or with Mr. Hamilton, along with Tom, that the time, you know, we keep this rock, and I don't want this to bite us. You know, I mean, just because we're changing the name of the rock, or whatever, the quality of the rock, the quantity of the rock, whatever it may be, are we still legitimately gonna get this done?
I believe we can.
And with quality though. You know, I don't wanna rush this through and have a quality issue at the end of it.
What's the problem with the granite that we bid? I don't understand the problem with that.
Price.
Is the state willing to pick up the price of
We
that?
don't know.
I mean, when are we gonna know that? We're ready to throw all this in the trash. We just went in here and bid. We got prices, what we asked for. Now I'm hearing y'all say that we're asking for the wrong thing.
I don't think we asked for the wrong thing.
Okay, so the thing that we did ask for, we all sat there and knew that this stuff was gonna be more than what FEMA had put in the pot for this. We all knew that. We was gonna go back after we got the bids and saying, FEMA, are you gonna cover this? Am I right? Now, why is the game changed?
Okay. My experience with FEMA goes quite deep into you adjust your local audit and everything else. Very bad experience. Several years after the work was done, not the state getting audited by FEMA, which is our first audit, and we're not worried about that one.
Sure.
It's when FEMA goes to close out and the federal government, OIG, audits FEMA. That's 3 years after you thought everything was gone. They audit FEMA, FEMA comes back, signs the state comes back and signs you a couple years later. So after learning that there's a possibility of reducing this number and showing we did our due diligence and everything else and putting us in a position that is better than the best position we could possibly be. We're documenting every day we paint it, limestone for our people. We're documenting prices of this, we know that we may be able to reduce this price even more. And I didn't that.
We didn't know that when we bid this last week.
I'd have felt better if the bid would have been for two, you know what I mean, for both qualities, then brought to the commission. It's this is your option. Either we go with the granite or we go with the granite limestone. Yeah, I understand that.
That's a real tough option, Commissioner, I'll tell you. You physically staring at a pile of limestone and a pile of granite, it's almost impossible to tell the difference. One of my concerns was that, for example, we bid them both. Limestone's, say you awarded the granite contract and I have a contractor that's hauling limestone to my jobs.
Yeah.
It's hard for an inspector that's on the job to know that I'm getting limestone and not lime rock. Now I can test it.
Yeah.
We can do the LA abrasion on it, but it takes time to do the LA abrasion, and it's not something that you can do every time you have a few loads come in. It's a bigger deal than that.
Well, what happened? You ordered a lime rock when we first go around. What have you got?
I asked for it 2 years ago. I asked for lime rock. I ain't seen it yet. My point is, the reason that I didn't want any lime, Tom, the reason I didn't want any lime is because it's dusty. And I'm hearing you say that it's dusty.
It's nothing like lime rock. I mean, a whole different spectrum than lime rock.
And that's the reason that I didn't like anything with lime in it. And that's why my complaints has been when you don't even put no lime rock down. It's a dust ball.
It's a very hard stone. It has a very low LA abrasion.
Did we allow the bids for the lime rock that was going to be? I'm not speaking for the whole county because the only one that asked for it is my district, the district that I represent, that I live in. For lime rock, wasn't that bid let out and approved?
For lime rock.
Yes.
But we bid out two projects that had lime rock.
Okay.
Which was contract A and contract B.
Okay.
And those actually are under construction right now. They're working now on those projects.
They're more district.
That was the first one that we had a question about the rock.
And then the second larger project, which is what we bid out for lime rock, where you wanted 1,400 tons of granite in your district, the contractor was never able to meet the specifications that we called for in the project.
On lime rock.
On lime rock, that's right. We brought it back to the board.
What about the granite?
Well, it's hard to award just the granite to the contractor when he had millions of dollars worth of lime rock also. And so I'm not sure that you could have...
Didn't they want it?
I don't think you could have pulled the granite out of that guy's bid and said, we're going to award just the granite to this contractor. I'm not sure that you could have...
And we put it all inclusive in this one project that we're looking at right here.
Yeah.
Correct?
I'm not sure that you could have done that, Mr. Abbott. Jeff might be able to say otherwise, but you guys rejected...
I thought we did do that.
We bid it as separate line items, okay?
And I thought we awarded this company the granite and the lime rock, and then they come up and couldn't do the lime rock, whatever it is, that had lime in it, to the specifications that we bid.
Right.
But they still had the granite
Right.
on that award.
Well, they actually never signed the award, and they never signed the contract.
And that is to stockpile.
And it was a stockpile.
Well, now we're talking about placing it on the road.
It was to stockpile at Mud Hill landfill. But the issue was, they couldn't meet the specifications, and they couldn't meet the time frame.
On the lime rock.
On the lime rock, there's physically no way we could get you enough lime rock to meet the deadline that we have. So we brought it before the board for discussion, we had a lengthy discussion about it. And I think the direction from the board was to rebid it using grant.
Yeah.
That was
The reason,
And we've done that, and we've got the results back.
That's correct. And we still have the results. This is just a separate recommendation.
Commissioner, the reason we rebid that was we wanted it all inclusive, and we wanted to come in and bring it all and do it one time.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But I understand your heartburn and your frustration with this, for sure.
Okay, but again, now, here we are. 2 weeks ago, a month ago, last month, we put it out to bid. These people have responded, and they've given us bids, and now we're changing our specifications.
I think that we took bids a week ago, right?
Yeah.
They closed.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, no, we asked them to start bidding right a month ago.
So our recommendation is to reject all bids and to re-advertise using limestone, which should result in some cost savings for the county. And we think we can demonstrate to FEMA that we've done everything we could to try to make a reasonable cost to fulfill these projects.
I think somewhere in our discussions in the past that we had FEMA to clarify this rock description for us, and I think they recommended that we use lime rock or limestone when available, and then go to granite. So this covers, if we go back to we use, our term here that we use for ours is lime rock, right? And then they have a limestone, and then we have a granite, right?
That's right.
So, when FEMA says lime,
Well, now y'all tell me.
well, obviously lime, to me, a rock and stone, same thing. But really, when you look at the, difference in it, what we're talking about, what's local and what's there, is two different things. But it's like Tom says, if you go to FEMA, if they go to argue with us about it, well, you had limestone available and you didn't use it, you used granite, so.
I didn't know there was a difference.
Well, I think that's what we were told in the past, that if there was lime rock or something lime available, we didn't need to use it instead of granite, right?
Are we not affecting any of these people that's contracted? I understood some people had some of this stuff already bought up and stockpiled.
I don't see how they could. They've never been awarded a contract.
they did that at risk if they did.
Mr. Jordan, most of this is going in your district. Most of this rock's going in your district. What's your thoughts?
Well, now it's going in his district too.
Whose district? Charles's?
Yeah, his work district, so.
Oh, well, yeah, but he don't ever travel that route. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, you know,
Well, I'm like Tom, I don't wanna have to go back to FEMA and have to cough up any money later.
I don't want to be late.
We just had
Really,
that
the only thing
audit.
the contractor's got to do at this point to rebid, submit another bid, is change their product price. Everything else is the same. So it'd be pretty simple for them to just plug in a different product price and send it on their out of bid, you know?
Well, when's our meeting in March? Ain't it can we have it ready by then? No?
We've got to advertise for 30 days.
Then we'll have to have another special meeting, and,
You're looking like April 11th, 10th, 11th.
Well, 30 days.
Yeah, that's been a requirement.
30
It
days.
was 3 weeks a while ago.
But in between the time that you could have started
I got you.
is where the difference is. And so the direction from FEMA always has been the county should use whatever they normally use when they put rock on their roads. And you guys normally use lime rock. That's what you guys have always used, is lime rock.
But it's
We
not.
we've documented that it's not available. Tom calls the plant regularly to make sure that they're not producing. And they order all the time. They can only go get it once in a while. And so he's been documenting that the whole time. If FEMA does an audit, I think we'll be covered in terms of demonstrating there's no possible way we could get this quantity of rock in the time frame we do this. So I think you got yourself documented pretty well.
We not only document where we can get it from, we document from the other pits that can produce it but they're not producing it because they got more people requiring road base right now instead of surface aggregate. But every 2 months or so, I get no quote fax from them, they had to file just to prove that we cannot get it in quantities.
My issue is getting the rock down. I don't want to lose it.
I don't want to lose one story into it.
But then I don't want to be responsible for them coming back later, well, you need to, we got to cost money. I hate to put the county in that position, so, and it's a board decision, so, I'm fine with it either way we go with it, it's just that we want to keep the county out there.
Well, here we are. I mean, we'll need a motion one way or the other, and we don't stay the way it is. Who is, this GCUC, who are they?
Gulf Coast Utility Contractors. Mike Swearington is from, south on 77.
Who is, the next one, is it Graham?
Graham Land Company, I think, they're from North Carolina.
I got a representative here.
Them right there.
Y'all have quarries? Y'all have quarries and whatnot to produce rock?
Look for is here, we'll be working with BOCC, we'll be working here.
Okay,
We have quarries up in North Carolina.
okay.
And it's Roberts, they weren't qualified, I mean, they had to be rejected because they defaulted,
They didn't submit one of their forms that was required with the bids.
which made them ineligible to bid on this project.
It would have disqualified them.
Okay.
And there wasn't much difference, I don't think, between them and the next bidder. I think they were pretty close. The problem really is the $1,063,000 over budget right now. And, trying to convince FEMA certainly that, we've cut everything we can cut.
I'll look for a motion if I don't hear one pretty quick.
We'll pass it out. Well, my only thing is, we've got some bids, and granted is what we normally use if we can't get lima. And, that's what we have used. Have we used limestone in the past?
I don't know, I'm not sure.
But we know we use granite.
That's what we use on Todd. Your district,
The previous work,
We did mine, and
Oh, you done some, oh yeah, y'all done
we
something.
did Greenhead with it. I mean, I like it. It had its pros and cons like everything else, but it definitely was not near as dusty. I mean, the tires, I mean, we left it thick, but after we had that 28 inches of rain, that was the only roads in Washington County that was actually passable. I mean, that you could travel down, because that stuff was sitting right on the road, but we got so much trouble for it slinging in the car and stuff. We did.
Yeah,
We mixed it.
there's no perfect solution.
And how much cheaper would the limestone be, you think?
I think material costs would be somewhere around 10% cheaper,
That would be the only difference.
unless the trucking came from a different place. But you can't really even compare trucking costs on our bids, because the trucking costs vary wildly from $8 to $20. So I mean, you almost can't even compare the trucking costs between the bids.
Basically, all that we can for sure see is the material.
Right.
The only thing I see is, if we go with this, we can start. Otherwise, we're waiting for the next bids, and if they came in, if they didn't come in as expected, lower, then we just wasted all that time. And our deadline is when?
August 2nd.
August 2nd, so, I was saying 18th or something.
I've heard 17, 18, so I checked. Well, I didn't check, I had to check.
It says the second.
August 2nd.
So we're looking at, let's look at the calendar here.
What's the desires?
April, May.
My roads are pretty much done. I mean, there's a couple that they needed to do just to close out with PW, but that's it. Everything mine and Charles, that's really, we've been staying out of this, so.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of satisfied with what was already on there. But, I mean, because of time restraints, we said, well, you know, there's more in the other ones, and we were just gonna say, let that happen.
And I wanted granted because it was not the dust bowl.
Well, and we've got yours done in granite. So if we've already got some done in granite, it's gonna be a difference of doing others in granite.
We can argue this.
We'll be gambling, but I mean,
Is it, was there ever any discussion on Commissioner Abbott's roads from FEMA saying they voiced concerns about it?
We submitted those bids to FEMA for review, and they reviewed it and made adjustments to the project worksheets called versions, and that's how we moved forward with those projects.
so they've been, that's approved?
You remember when we did Worley Road and all that over there, and we did Greenhead, and we did everybody's project, Charles backed out.
Then he back in.
No, but I'm talking about on that particular deal.
Charles?
Because they grouped together those roads. He had, Gilbert's Mill, we had Worley and, that section around there, just north of, but that, see, Joel picked those and grouped them together way before my time.
I'm guessing my question is to you, Cliff, is whenever Commissioner Abbott decided to change from Lime Rock to granite, what was FEMA's thoughts and discussions on that? That would depict how I live here.
I didn't have any thoughts or discussions with them. We simply packaged up the whole bid package
Yeah?
with the bids, the advertisement, the specs, the whole 9 yards, and sent that to them.
Would that be a better question for which Tom or the FEMA coordinator? Which? What was FEMA's thoughts when Commissioner Abbott decided to change from Lime Rock?
It wasn't just him, that's what I'm saying, we all did it.
Yeah, but, okay, what was the thoughts of FEMA in the county?
What was the outcome?
Yeah, that's what
I'm going to answer the question, and if I mistake, tell me where we're wrong. How's that? They sent to FEMA with the, FEMA apparently wrote a new version for those roads.
Okay.
Correct?
We did.
You did, okay. And they accepted it, right? Based upon what we told them.
What was their, I'm sorry, Bishop, what was their, you have a closer contact with FEMA than anybody else in this room. What was their thoughts? What were they receptive to it? They had heartburn about it?
Yet, because they haven't reviewed all of the interim inspections. I think possibly what you guys may be thinking of is a state reviewed it. FEMA has not reviewed it.
We've got paid for it, correct?
I got it real
We got
quickly.
paid for through the state.
Real quickly, we're at the point right now. We are what's called a sub-grantee. Our sub-grantee is the state. So right now, we're working with the state, and they got a grant from FEMA.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying there's a bigger process than, right now we deal with state approves our work, we get paid. State closes out the things, so it's their work. FEMA goes through it, and then gets audited by the federal government. That's at a later date. So our answers and our stuff are coming from the state right now, emergency management, and not necessarily FEMA.
Okay, how did the state receive? That's my question, if that makes it, we'll take
They were
FEMA.
fine with it, they paid it.
Yeah, so,
I mean, but the thing is,
It
like,
was paid for, it's just, when I write the closeout, it's just putting in that no Lime Rock was available on this project. So granite was used and it was accepted.
see, the state,
As long as it's not available, then they generally will do it.
the state, I mean, Homeland Security, the Office of the Attorney General or something, they just audited the state. But we weren't in closeout on those projects. So they cleared them on the one end, the ones that were already closed out prior, but we were in the process of it. The state's already cleared it, but you won't know until the next federal audit of the state, and who knows if it will happen or won't happen or whatever, because that was the first one in a long, long time.
And
But we cleared that hurdle.
there was more of an audit of the process.
Right.
All right.
Which there,
Does all these contractors got the same access to the same rock, to the same stone?
Oh, yeah, no, no.
They can all.
yeah.
I'll make a motion that we rebid them with the stipulation that you're sure that we can do it in the timeframe we want to. Other than that, I'll go with the motion that we provide the, we go off of what we've got here with the grant.
I feel very confident that we can get it done in that time frame. So,
90%, you put your job on it, I mean, how certain are you? And I'm being real specific, how sure are you,
I'm
Cliff?
pretty sure my job's on it regardless of what the percentage chances are. You know, based on discussion with the contractors that were at the pre-construction conference, none of them seem to have any problem handling 10,000 tons a month. None of them seem to have an issue with it at all. And
So y'all's recommendation is to bid the limestone.
Yes,
First
sir.
specification.
The recommendation, now, is that recommendation to
Throw these out.
reject these
That's right.
and rebid
That's correct.
with lime
Stone.
stone?
That's correct. Now, one thing that the chairman touched on a second ago is there are some changes that we've added to the contract documents based on that OIG audit that we had, including provisions that encourage minority and women-owned businesses from participating. We now have that in the contract documents. We have it in the advertisement that goes in the paper.
You're gonna have to call someone, don't you?
Yeah, we'd also basically get a list from DOT, and we contact those people to make sure that they know this project's out for bid.
And let me ask a question, and it'd be a good question because we've got somebody here that represents a company that's actually not from the state. They work in the state, but not from the state. Does the state give a preference, do we give a preference to companies that are from the state of Florida, or?
No, you have there's no preference of any sort. Even your local, even if, say you had a contractor that was local to Washington County, there's no preference set up in your procurement policy to give him an advantage of any sort over somebody from out of state like these guys.
They don't allow the preference.
Okay.
There is
And I
no.
just needed to ask that question.
All right, have a motion on the table?
What was it?
If there's no-
It was either or.
I'll Cliff, really, I mean, I'm
We gotta get
sincere.
it done, Cliff. Period.
I'll be driving the truck if I need
No
to.
mail.
I believe you can get it done. So.
Without a doubt, we get it done right now, but we bought it.
No, I mean, it's all weather permitting, I mean, it's,
Bring that granite in, ain't well, that
That's too
man's
big.
carrying on the rail car. What are you looking at?
well, no, I'm not saying, but if you get it in, then don't get on the road in time, then what?
I mean, even
I'll make a motion that we reject all these bids. Let's do that first, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Can we reject all these bids?
Have a motion,
Second.
and a second. I guess we'll do a roll call. Trey, you want to start?
Nay.
Aye. Now, I'd like to make a motion that we rebid this project being lime
so,
stone
57.
57 and still get done in the same time frame.
That's right.
Have a motion,
I'll second.
have a second. Mr. Joyner, I'll start with you this time.
Is 57 what we just ordered, Holmes?
They ordered the same rock we just ordered? Or they ordered lime rock?
Well, they had riprap,
57.
number 4, they had number 4 stone, what they call spring,
That stuff that we
they call
want.
it spring rock, number 4 stone, which is, it's like that big around.
You don't want to.
No, nothing to do with Ford, nothing.
Don't go Holmes County.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
Don't go Holmes County.
Meeting adjourned.